Hi, I'm Ameerah. I'm a senior in the Graphic Print and Communications Magnet.
Hi, my name is Emily. I'm the NHS president. I'm in 12th grade and I'm in the Magnet Academy of Health Professions.
Hi, my name is Lydia. I'm a senior in the Academy of Health Professions program.
Oh, my name's Angel. I'm a senior in the graphic print program.
And this is CJ. I'm a senior and I'm also in the AHP program. And welcome to today's NHS podcast. We're here to talk about back to school and getting back into the groove of things. We're here to give tips to each grade, so stay tuned as we go through each grade and tell you guys what we wish we had known back then.
Yeah, so our freshman year was online, so we didn't really get to do a lot of in-person things.
I know. I think for our 9th grade year, it was really hard trying to get into the groove of things like joining clubs and joining sports and getting good study habits because, again, half of us were asleep behind the camera. So, So honestly, I think we're here to tell you what we wish we would have known back then and kind of what we wish we would have gotten the opportunity to do. So I think one thing that we should start off with is definitely if you're struggling in any classes this year, we have a tutoring program, don't we?
Yes, for NHS.
Yeah, NHS, we have a tutoring program. If you need help in any subject, you can come to us during lunch. That'll be posted on the announcements when that comes out. But yeah, we're here. I think the upperclassmen, if you are an upperclassman, just look out for the little guys, look out for the people who are just coming in. And you 9th graders, you can always come up to us. We're really nice people. At least I like to believe so. We are nice people. We are.
Okay, and then also elaborating on joining clubs and sports. So
As far as sports goes, really just being balanced and maintaining your academics while also participating in clubs and sports like that, because sports, they go on for I want to say 2 hours after school, and usually people use that time to do homework and everything, so you may get a little a late start, but you can still really balance the two if you're focused on doing that. Clubs, same thing.
Yeah, I would also say don't join too many clubs. Join clubs that you're really interested in because it's just going to get too much.
I mean, yeah, I think definitely it's important to have that balance. No matter what you're doing, whether you're doing clubs, whether you're doing extracurriculars, volunteering, whatever you are doing, whatever you should be doing, honestly, you should really try to get involved. But remember, you need to sleep at night. You need to be able to, balance out what you're doing. You need time to yourself. Everyone needs time to themselves. So just make sure you're keeping your grades up. And that doesn't mean you have to get be the top of the class. You don't have to be the valedictorian. You need to, do what's right for you. Again, I hear a lot of people, especially at Western, knowing the kind of school that we're at, they'll be like, oh, I got a B. That's such a terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing, especially considering these quarter grades. First quarter, that's the time to mess up if you are going to mess up. First quarter is definitely the quarter to figure out, how is this year going to go for me? What are my teachers like? What are their grading policies? Look at that syllabus, make sure you know what's going on so that for the rest of the year, you kind of have a good handle on things. And that way, if you're going to mess up, in the first quarter, say you get a B or a C, hopefully you can strive to get, better grades as the year progresses. Mm-hmm. And even then, the GPA, your GPA isn't everything. It's good to keep it up if you are college bound, if you're looking at going to college, and college isn't the only thing out there, and we'll get to that later. But especially for people who are college bound, again, good GPA is important, but it's not everything.
Yeah. I remember there was a meeting the University of Maryland College, even though we're talking about 9th grade, but he said even in 9th grade, it's good to see the progress, even if you mess up in the beginning.
Okay, so as I said before, I'm in the Academy of Health Professions, and our magnet class was Academy of...
It was Anatomy and Physiology.
Anatomy and Physiology.
Yeah.
And I would say it's it's a hard class. You have to stay on top, take notes for sure, and then I would say use Quizlets, and I don't think we had a textbook. Well, did we have an online textbook?
We did.
We did have
an have an online textbook.
And I would say make PowerPoints or study off from that.
The nice thing is that a lot of teachers use Cengage for their for their things. And Cengage has a lot of resources. Like they have flashcards. It has PowerPoints that they make themselves. Again, just look around at the resources that your teachers put out, that the textbooks have. It's really helpful. Like I remember yesterday I was studying for a biology test and I just found this PowerPoint that Ms. Bickerstaff had put up and it was really helpful. She didn't show us in class, but again, it's really important that you look around and see the resources that are there, especially if the teacher doesn't make it go out of their way to emphasize it. Again, there's always some there. And even if the teacher doesn't post it, there's always stuff on YouTube and, you know, wherever you need to find stuff, it's always out there. So just keep that in mind when you're studying.
Yeah, and all the stuff that you learned ninth grade year is going to follow you throughout your magnet program. Yeah. Definitely sophomore year and 11th grade year during your internship, you're going to need all the information you learned. So it's really important to pay attention to what you're learning about and memorize it.
Yeah. And then like keep your notes because like we take a test 11th grade year and you do really need your anatomy and physiology.
Yeah.
For graphic print, me and Angel are in graphic print.
Yeah.
I would say for ninth grade, just getting started, just understand that it's okay if you're not that strong in like drawing or anything. That doesn't really like matter within the magnet, as long as you're able to apply the skills that you have to using Photoshop and Illustrator. We use applications like those. Really just, I would say for practicing, even though you're assigned assignments, I would say just on your own, just start fiddling with the applications that you need to download and just like do your own thing. You don't always have to do what is assigned to you. You can always free verse everything.
Also, like, stay on top of your work. Like, yeah. I know some people think this is like the magnet with the easy A, or at least that's what I was told, yeah. Which is not entirely false, but I don't know, stay ahead of your deadlines. They will creep up on you if you just leave things off. Also, you have a lot of important opportunities here. Like, you get 2 Adobe certifications during your freshman year, Photoshop and Illustrator. And there was a student from Stevenson who even visited one of my classes one time. And she's already in college, but they don't get that Photoshop certification until like their junior year in college. So you guys are already getting pretty ahead up there. Just put in the work and study hard. And you guys will be fine.
Yeah, the workload does increase, and the time that you have, you may think that you have a lot of time to complete the assignment. Me personally, I thought I did, and I did not. Please make sure that you look at the amount of time you have between assignments. And like Angel said, the certifications, take advantage of those and study too. But Mr. Adelong will ensure that you do pass the certification test no matter what.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing. I know we're not in, the other magnets like plumbing and Cosmo and, culinary, but the same thing goes for those magnets as well. You need to stay on top of your work. Your magnet teachers, they won't let you fall behind. If you have an issue with either a subject that you're learning or the way things are going in a certain class, the first person you probably should reach out to is the teachers. And if you're too intimidated to go to them, you've always got us 12th graders. We're always around, not in our classes doing, wherever we are during the day. There's no shame in asking for help. I think that a lot of people at Western, just because of the kind of school it is, people don't want to go out and ask for help. They don't want to say, hey, I don't get it. I don't quite understand what's going on here. Could you elaborate on this? Why this, that, and the other? And there's no shame in asking those questions. I personally am the first one to put my hand up when I'm like, things aren't making sense right now. Can you help me, make sure that they make sense so that when I go to take the test? Because honestly, the worst thing ever, it's worse than not asking the question in class is trying to ask yourself during the test. Okay. Like that's not going to work all the time. So again, just make sure you stay on top of your work. Make sure you reach out to those resources. Like I said earlier, make sure you communicate with your magnet teachers like Angel and Ameerah were saying, and they won't let you fall behind. Your magnet teachers, your general class teachers, they won't let you fall behind as long as you reach out to them. They are more than willing to help you. And, I guess just get a good sleep schedule. Make sure you're on top of those magnet classes because those are pretty much your most important classes, especially in ninth grade, because those are going to be the foundation of what you're learning in your 11th, 10th, and 12th grade year.
You guys want to talk about tech tutoring real quick? Because I know you talked about making your teachers making sure you don't fall behind. That goes with the coach class and the tutoring program at NHS. And I think you guys said it happens once every month.
Once every month, like on a Tuesday. Yeah. And then it's on fourth period, right? And basically you get to choose between if you want to meet with your teachers, or I know they have some activities. Like
they have club activities. They have, general activities. Like I know there's trivia with Miss Rowe or Jeopardy or whatever it is. But yeah, those are different opportunities. Again, if you want, during those tech tutoring Tuesdays, it's good to get tutoring if you need it. But if you feel like you're ahead in everything, it's good to, take that break, take those 75 minutes to just, just play volleyball or do trivia or, play Uno with your friends. It's always good to take that break.
So moving into 10th grade, probably thinking that you are in the groove of things and you got everything set up. 9th grade is already passed. And this is not really the time to slack off, to be honest. This is the time where you start focusing on your GPA. You don't want it to drop. You want to, along with the GPA, you want to also focus on PSAT because that's coming up. But all of these other things along with that,
I mean, yeah, it's important to be on top of your PSAT because you can earn scholarships for that. I believe we had 4 people from our grade who were eligible for scholarships because they did well in the PSAT. And again, that'll set you up for the SAT. I know the SAT is changing this year, so I don't even know what tips to give y'all.
Like if you get it right, it'll get hard.
Yeah.
So, no.
It's online.
Yeah, but that's no reason to be intimidated by it. I think that they make it so that it's passable, of course. Like it's not an impossible test. I'm sure there are ways to study for it. I believe with the SAT and a lot of these AP exams, they make it so that your hard work is rewarded. Like if you put in the work, put in the effort to learn the material, put in the effort to learn the grammar, learn the vocab, learn the math, again, you'll be rewarded accordingly. I think that I wish I studied for it more, especially the second time I took it. And that's the other thing with the SAT. You can take it multiple times. Like these AP exams, I think you should be, I think when it comes to testing and College Board, I think the AP exams are a bit more stressful because you don't get to retake an AP Lit exam. You don't get to retake those AP Calc exams. It's one and done, unless you literally go back and retake the course. And I know none of you are planning to do that if the school allows you to do that. So again, the nice thing about the SAT is that you get to retake it pretty much as many times as you want. I wouldn't recommend going above 3, but it's good to, I know a lot of my friends, they took it before it was offered in, 11th grade? Before it was offered in 11th grade so that they saw where their baseline was, saw where they needed to improve. Then they took it in, 11th grade when it's offered to us for free. And then they took it again so that they could just improve their score from there. So again, 3 is a good number. Honestly, you don't really need to take it more than once or twice, especially if you're happy with your score. If you're like 1500s, 1400s, I don't know how competitive the schools are that you're applying to, but again, studying for the PSAT will set you up for the SAT, and it begins in 10th grade. It definitely begins in 10th grade, and it'll pack you until pretty much you're done with college applications. So take them seriously.
And Khan Academy will be your best friend in this. Even if you just do like 10 questions every day and just be consistent, it will help you, trust me. And Khan Academy really, it targets your struggle areas. And this is helpful because if you target those struggle areas, you'll be able to improve your score no matter what. So please just get on that as soon as possible. It doesn't have to be a lot. It just, again, 10 questions every day.
Yeah, that'll get you a long way. And especially since it connects to College Boards, that I can see, like Ameerah said, your struggle areas on what you did on the last PSAT or the last SAT. Again, that is important, but also don't let your GPA drop. You worked hard in 9th grade. You don't want to ruin it in 10th grade or 11th grade or 12th grade for that matter. Because again, it all goes back to college applications if you are college bound. So make sure you're working hard in those classes. Make sure you keep your grades up. Again, this doesn't mean all A's across the board. It doesn't mean valedictorian per se, but it means that when you look at your transcript, when you look at your report card, you look at it and you know that you did the best that you could, and that with all the resources that you were given, you took advantage of them, you did your best, and that's what it is. And honestly, if you're doing your best, you really shouldn't be getting lower than a high C or B per se. A lot of us here, the reason we're at this school is because, Western, the administrators there, they saw us as capable. and that's why we're here. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of the resources that we have here. In our magnet programs, again, this is really when a lot of the magnet programs start getting hands-on, when we start learning, going into those classrooms that you saw maybe during, the open house. Yeah, the open house, those rooms where you get to be hands-on with, I don't know, I think environmental tech, it's like the fish and stuff, and like AHP, it's like the hospital, and, the graphic print, it's like being in that room.
Understanding the printing
the fancy the plumbing room, all that stuff. Like, this is when things definitely start getting more interesting. I think in the 9th grade, a lot of us were probably bored. We saw a lot at the open house, and we wish we were doing it. Well, 10th grade and 11th grade is definitely when we start, getting in the kitchen, getting wherever you need to be. So you learn the skills, guys. You have to learn the skills so that, 11th grade and 12th grade, you can put multiple things on your resume. And as you're learning those skills, it's good to know that as you get certified, as you learn, whatever, you should start going outside of school and trying to find volunteer opportunities that may fit into what you're trying to do in the future. Like if you're in culinary, maybe going to a food drive and maybe helping out there. If you're going into AHP, finding a hospital, finding somewhere you can intern at there. If you're in Cosmo, maybe, interning at a salon. And even if you're just the receptionist, that's a good first step, because when you put that on your resume, it lets colleges know that, hey, I'm interested. This is where I want to go.
Yeah. And also, I'd say, take advantage of our guidance counselors, because I know for me, I was a bit worried about paying for my AP exams and SATs, but they will, show you ways to get fee waivers, and they'll help you cover those costs if you can't afford them. Also, for, those summer programs, I'd recommend you start doing them, 9th or 10th grade year, because I know I did one at Northwest Hospital my sophomore year, during the summer, and it really did help with me getting familiar with the hospital environment. And when I went into my internship junior year, I felt very comfortable. I felt like I've already done it before. And overall, these internships and these volunteer programs will help you in the future.
Yeah, I think even for me, I applied to that Northwest, internship program, and I didn't get in. But besides that, I think it's important to know that even if you don't get into an internship or volunteer program that fits whatever you're trying to go into in the future, one, it lets people know that you're involved in some sort of way. Like, I was a camp counselor for the Maryland Science Center down at the downtown, right? In downtown Baltimore. And it was a great experience because I got to actually work with kids, got to show them around and be a tour guide at the Science Center. So I think that having that interaction with people in general is good, not just for your career, in life. You need to get out there. You need to go and volunteer. You need to, just be out there in the community. I know in middle school, it's easy to kind of be like, oh, I'm in Green Club. Oh, I'm doing sports. I'm out there. You don't really get out there until you meet people that you probably are never going to see again, until you meet people that you're probably never going to learn their names. Having that interaction with, just strangers in general. It's good because it improves your self-esteem, definitely. I think doing the Maryland Science Center, being a, secretary at contracting company, that really helped, my self-esteem and my communication skills just in general. Because no matter what you're going into, you need to be able to communicate.
And I think for us on Hell, even though I think this was 11th grade, but still, even though it wasn't a volunteer opportunity, we went to the NSA for a field trip.
Yeah. And that was a pretty impactful moment because we got to meet a lot of these employers and learn a lot about their informations and jobs out here at the NSA, which is a huge opportunity. And it was nice to learn a lot about these different, it was like a museum, there's these code breakers and everything, but it was just more than that. We can meet employers and understand the kind of work we can do at the NSA, and just a really good opportunity overall. Especially you can start applying at the beginning of your junior year, so something to start thinking about now, maybe as a sophomore going into your junior year. That's something you'd be interested in.
Mm-hmm. So like Lydia said, I was also in the Northwest Hospital volunteer program, and it really helped transition for the 11th grade year when you go to the hospital at UMMC. And along with that, 10th grade summer, I was also a lifeguard, so it really helped because in 11th grade, you really strengthen your healthcare skills like CPR and emergency oxygen. So I really emphasize like getting internships or like jobs related to your magnet or like related to whatever you want to major in college.
Yeah, and I would just like to add, I think group chats are very important. They have definitely helped me. For example, there is an Academy of Health Professions group chat that I am in, and we send each other any like helpful tips that we may have, like Quizlet links that really that are, you know, similar. They relate to the things that we're learning in class, and they do help with the exams and the tests. And I've been in like physics group chats, like chemistry group chats, and they're like a study group basically. If you don't want to meet up outside of school, you can just meet up within the group chat or have FaceTime calls to just talk about what you guys want to talk about basically, and study for the tests and work on assignments. Yeah, no cheating though. No cheating.
No sending each other answers.
Just studying, like helping each other study and get better grades.
Yeah, and with that, we will move on to our tips for our 11th graders, our juniors.
This is like SAT like season, so I would recommend studying for SAT 10th grade summer, because like you're not gonna have a lot of time studying SAT during 11th with AP classes and just like clubs and sports. Like I would recommend getting on top of like SAT studying early.
Yeah, for many people in their first AP exams are going to be during their junior year. Again, a lot of you are going to take it during 9th and 10th grade. I know I did. But like a lot of people I noticed, at least in my class, they started taking either their first AP or more than one AP in 11th grade. So it's very important to, you know, hone in on those skills that your teachers are putting out there, because the skills that your teachers are emphasizing, they're probably emphasizing them because they're going to be on the AP exam. The AP exam is not just some final. It's not just some, you know, you sit down, you get the paper, you know, you do the final, you have however much time. Like, no, you are on a very tight budget with those AP exams. Like they give you like an hour or so for multiple choice and whatever for FRQs. And those multiple choices and those FRQs that your teachers give you, they're giving them to you because that's exactly what the exam's going to look at like. Like I would do anything just to get a sneak peek at the AP bio exam before I go and take it. And that's what Ms. Biggerstaff is giving us with her multiple choices, with their free response questions. Like it's supposed to look like the exam. So these teachers they're really trying to set you up. So make sure you take advantage of those opportunities. Another thing that comes by in junior year and is definitely prominent is the honor societies. It's definitely the time to get into extracurriculars, but definitely your honor societies. If you want to run for positions, if you want to, you know, just be more involved with the school community and actually running, you know, clubs and events and tutoring sessions, because I know the honor societies are really, you know, they really emphasize the tutoring part. So again, joining honor society, it looks good on your resume because honor societies is nationally recognized. So if you have that stole at the end of your, you know, 12th grade year, if you have that on your resume at the beginning of your 12th grade year, when you submit that application, the college admissions officers are going to be like, oh, I know what NHS is. Oh, I know what NEHS is. Like they might not know what beekeeping club is. I think they can make an educated guess, but you know, NHS and all those honor societies, I mean, national honors, like that's kind of, you know, it's nationally recognized. So it's definitely a good opportunity to get on there that your college admissions officers are going to recognize.
And then just like elaborating, when putting like NHS on your resumes, you want to be more than just a member to stand out to like the college. So make sure to like actively volunteer in your honor societies.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to get either service learning hours or hours in your honor societies, because in most honor societies, you need a certain amount of hours to get your stoles to be able to stay in the honor society. So make sure you really, you know, honor societies, they may very well become your most important clubs during that time. And again, you have to remember, if you're doing honor societies and you're doing sports, you got to figure out how that's going to work, especially if where you practice the sport isn't at Western Tech. You have to figure out the transportation situation. And, you know, just make sure you have your schedule down, like school and then club and then sports. Again, how much are you going to be able to manage? Again, back to that balancing act. You need to be able to, you know, go to sleep at night. You need to be able to study for your tests and whatnot. So extracurriculars aren't everything. You should definitely consider them because they make your college application stronger, but they're not everything, and you need to be able to, you know, function throughout the day.
Speaking of schedules, I would suggest throughout the summer doing CCBC courses to just free up your schedule and possibly make space for other classes you may want to take that may be rigorous or a little more fun. It doesn't matter. Just free up your schedule by taking early college courses because they'll be very helpful when you get to 12th grade and you have a lot of space.
Yes, I took like 6 because I'm crazy, right? And the nice thing is that I know a lot of you, either for cost purposes or because you want to stay close, you're going to a lot of the schools around here in Baltimore, especially, they're going to accept CCBC credits. So if you want to get ahead in your, in your college journey, a CCBC course is a good alternative to an AP course. But that's if you're staying in state. Again, as soon as you leave Maryland, it gets really iffy with whether or not they're accepting those courses. And again, if you are going into a certain major like biology, keep in mind that the college is probably going to want you to take biology at the school, regardless of whether you've taken AP biology, regardless of whether you've taken it at a CCBC course. So when it comes to AP and CCBC, just remember, AP is good for national if you plan on going out of state. CCBC is good for if you just want to, just want to stay in state, want to keep it, budget friendly. And also keep in mind with CCBC, they everything's tuition free there. If you go through their ECAP program, you can take as many courses as you would like, and the school, BCPS will cover it for you. So that's the nice thing with taking, CCBC courses. If you can't afford to pay for the AP exams, which I think they're paying for all of them this year, aren't they?
Oh yes,
they're paying for all of them this year. So that's not something you really have to worry about right now. But if they do ever decide to change in the future, again, CCBC, they're going to cover all of them regardless of whether you take 1 class, 2 classes, or 8 classes. Okay. So keep that in mind. CCBC goes onto your transcript the same way that AP courses do. So if that's better for you, if you find it easier to do asynchronous work, again, to each his own, whichever works for you.
You could also do like online in-person courses for CCBC.
Yeah.
As a dual enrollment, right?
Yeah, that's definitely like a 12th grade.
Yeah, if you
have early release. I mean, anyone can do
someone
it.
who does.
Anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it, really.
If you have the time, but like asynchronous is obviously.
Yeah, and over the summer too. That's the nice thing with CCBC. You can do it over the summer. Like AP courses, it's the whole school year. Yeah. CCBC, you do it 1 or 2 months during the school year or 1 or 2 months during the summer. Like if you don't want to be stuck in that course for 9 months straight, again, CCBC is definitely the way to go. But remember, that's for in-state if you're planning on going to college in-state. So.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is career fair. So career fair happens 11th grade year. It's basically, it's an event held to improve on your interview skills, build your resume and portfolio. And I know through HP, Ms. Borrego makes us write our resume, portfolio, and everything pretty early. And she gives us exact rubric on how to write it. So don't procrastinate writing your portfolio because it will take a lot of time, and just also make sure to take pictures throughout your 9th to 11th grade year because you'll definitely need pictures for your portfolio.
Like your internships.
And
you want them candid photos. And I think we started working on it sophomore year, like the resume with Ms. McCullough.
Oh yes, that's true.
Yeah. Take it
Honestly,
seriously.
whenever you do something extracurricular, just make sure you put it down. Make sure you take pictures or whatever. Because when you get to the career fair, and more importantly, college, that resume and whatever you have with you, that they need to be able to know, this is who you are and this is what you've done over the past few years. If you can't convey that during the career fair, you're probably going to fail.
Definitely want to show your certifications, physical copies of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real proof.
Yeah.
And I think also during career fair, I know a lot of people got offered jobs on the spot.
Yeah.
So basically there's a whole bunch of careers that come, and like Emily said, practicing your interview skills, and they interview you, and then they can also give you the job on the spot if they feel like you're best fit after showing your portfolio. And one thing about the portfolio for graphic print students, you're basically building your portfolio throughout your entire years there. All the the assignments you do, you can print them out and put them in your portfolio and showcase them. So you're kind of building it throughout the years in the magnet.
And just kind of try to do your best. It's okay if you don't get a job like on the spot on day of career fair. I know a bunch of people who got like deferred. They're like, oh, come back next year, or like, hey, contact me when you get out of high school. I got a job for you. It's just like, it's okay if you don't get it right away.
Yeah, everyone, like there's how many people in each grade? There's like over 200 people in each grade. Like not everyone's going to get offered a job. Not everyone's going to, stick out to, whoever. But you are still graded at the career fair, and it's important that you do a good job regardless. And, who knows? You might end up working there in 20 years. So, you want to make that good first impression. They don't want to remember you like, oh, you're the junior who this, that, and the other. Like you don't want to put that first impression out there. Like, and colleges are there too, aren't they? Yes. Like that's really the time. Like if you're going to make a first impression with those colleges, it needs to be a good one. Okay.
There was?
UMBC.
There was no UMD, like,
Penn State, like, affiliated. That school was there.
But the lines were so long.
Yes.
Long. Yeah. If you guys wanna get to the, whatever stands, I recommend you don't wait in the long lines. Like, if you see an empty stand, go to that empty stand and then come back. Yeah. We'll talk about this closer to career fair. We'll definitely talk about this closer to career fair.
Yeah. And if you're a senior, you can also be a career fair if you want.
Really?
Yeah, because, well, or is it because it wasn't happening last year or like the previous year? Is it?
I don't know because I thought seniors could.
I don't know. To like bring up. I'll get back to it.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But that again, first impressions, whether you're doing a college visit, whether it's career fair, which again, this is 11th grade, so you should be doing college visits. This is definitely the time to be going out there while you have the time. And if not 11th grade, that summer between 11th and 12th grade, definitely going out there. If you know there are schools that you want to go to, make sure you schedule that visit. And if you can't make it there, if it's all the way in California, there's always the virtual visits. There's always the, workshops that they have, get to know the admissions officers, get to know some of the students who are already attending there. So yeah, the first impressions are really important. They're not, nothing too much to stress about. Just make sure you're dressed appropriately, no matter whether you're going to a college visit or whatnot. Make sure you have, proper grammar. Make sure, you look like someone that they'd want to let into your school, because maybe they might be going through your application like, oh, I remember this student. I remember they took the time to come, and visit us. They took the time to do an interview with us at the career fair. Like, you never know. Like it's always like these crazy like movie scenarios where it's like, oh, it all comes around full circle.
And for 11th grade, really, this is also the time where you could start making your college list, and then segueing into 12th grade, really just focusing on college applications and what to consider when applying to a college. Is it the size that you want? Is it where you want to be?
Yeah.
Is it what majors does it offer? Really consider these things when looking at the colleges you want to apply to.
And then also something I wish I knew was like making a separate email for like college applications, because a lot of colleges are gonna like send you a lot of emails about like their open house or like virtual tours or whatever. So it gets like really packed like in my main email. So just like make a separate one.
Yeah, and if you're going to do that, make sure whatever new email you use, make sure your College Board account also has that email, because that's one of the main ways a lot of colleges are going to reach out to you. They're going to go through College Board, find your email there, and then they're just going to send you whatever. And you never know what you'll find. You never know that you'll find an open house, or you'll find an internship opportunity, or a time to do a workshop with the advisors. Like, you never know what you'll find. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you check your emails. That's pretty much what we're saying.
But it's real.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. I know, like, again, the interesting rooms, the whole, getting to be hands-on with the stuff. You get to learn a lot about what it's like to be in the field. Like, I see some of, like, the automotive kids, like, they're coming out of the shop, with, all the oil on this. I'm like, oh my God, this is, like, the real deal. And it's, like, it's so cool to be at this school. Like, I love Western so much. But anyway, we're going to get into 12th grade. Again, 12th grade is also the time to continue to look for internships if you're not continuing the one you're already doing. It's the time to get a job. You can do early release time and do CCBC or whatnot. You could also get an internship in school, which is what me and Angel are doing. Angel, would you like to?
Well, it's a really cool experience because, like, right after I'm done with my classes, I get to go straight to work and just work in the same room I did my magnet. It's actually, like, pretty cool. It's, like, basically having my magnet for a 4th year. It's like, I'm really grateful for the opportunity. It's like, yeah, a lot of good things. And you guys should really look into getting internships. It doesn't have to be at the school. Like, I know a lot of you can drive yourselves. So it's like, you have a lot of options here at Western.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that this year I noticed that there's a lot more like in-school interns than there was in the previous year. So if you see any of us in your magnet classes, like at all, just like feel free to ask us questions. Like we're here to help. Like that's why we're, being trapped at school. We're here to help out the teachers, but we're also here to help out with the underclassmen. So if you guys see us in the hallways, if you notice like, oh wait, that's Mr. Adelong's intern, or oh, that's Miss Borrego's intern, or oh, that's Miss Bickerstaff's intern, just feel free to talk to us because we've been through the ropes. Like we know what you're about to do. So talk to us. Don't be afraid to. What else is there? Senioritis.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Yeah, senioritis is very real. I think that, honestly, I had junioritis as well. But don't give up. What's that? What's the meme?
what do you mean?
Wait, I know it. Never back down, something like that.
Never back down, never
Never give
what?
up.
Never back down, never what?
Never give up.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think one of the teachers, Mr. Pags, talked about.
Oh my god.
You already know. Mr. Pags talked about how even if you get into the college that you want to get into mid-year, and how some of the students would just stop coming to class or just stop focusing on their grades and everything like that. That is not the time, because colleges will look at that. They will see the change in the grades, the change in the focus of academics after you get into the college that you got into. Please focus. And senioritis, the free release time. Even me, I've kind of gotten used to it, and I've been taking advantage of it. That is not what you need to do. You need to prioritize your time. Please prioritize your time and create your own schedule and use that free time to possibly get a jump on assignments and get everything organized and together. You can still hang out with your friends and everything, but do that after you've everything completed.
Yeah, and I think the important thing about senior year, and this is more so for the underclassmen than it is for the seniors, which is funny, is that senior year, you don't actually have 8 classes or 7 classes anymore. It's more like you have pretty much as many classes as you want to. Yes, you have to take ELA. Yes, you have to take a math class. But besides that, you could honestly be there for 2 periods and, not be there for the rest of the time. Again, if you're going to do that, you need to keep in mind, how am I getting out of school? Because they will kick you out. They need you. If you have early release time, you need to be out of the school. You need to be off of the campus. So keep that in mind when you're making your schedule for next year. That's why, they have seminar, which I'm personally doing, and they have the in-school internship, and I'm doing that as well, just so that I can earn credits and put that on my resume and whatnot. But yeah, it's interesting to not have 8 classes anymore, because then you have more time to not only focus on those classes, but again, like Ameerah said, get a job, do the internships like we were just talking about. It's important that, you have more time, and this is for seniors. Now that you have more time, what are you doing with that time? I know a lot of us who are, who aren't there, A days, or who aren't there B days, you go home and you just sleep. I'm maybe, especially if you can drive, maybe there's something else you could be doing. Maybe you could be getting ahead on schoolwork. Maybe you could, be getting a job or, doing an internship. It's important. And the nice thing is that I've realized with a lot of employers and a lot of, internship sites, they don't understand the A day, B day quite yet. I know UMMC doesn't, but they will be flexible, that they will say, when are you available? How can we make this schedule work? Because we want you here. But, again, the A day, B day thing, I get that that's a really big inhibitor for people who want to get jobs and internships, because the week changes. Sometimes you can only go in 2 days. Sometimes you can, go in 3 days. Sometimes, depending on when you have a day off, that might mess everything up. So again, it's important to keep that in mind when you are going to do early release time. You shouldn't just be going home and sleeping, or maybe you can, I get it. This is our last year to really be kids. Sorta, if that's what you still consider us. Yeah. But again, you should still be doing something with your time, because I feel maybe looking back, you might regret not doing anything.
Yeah,
Maybe,
and also
yeah.
I know Miss Hilaire, she really does help with internships. She had me do my internship, and it's not even related to healthcare. I'm just working at a special needs school, helping feed kids. But she has helped me and a lot of my friends connect with internships and anything that we're interested in. So if you're interested in a specific topic or working with a specific set of people, just email her and like she'll let you know. This is targeted towards juniors. Do seniors have more time to get internships?
No. I know that there are people who say they have an internship, but it hasn't started yet. Mm-hmm. And again, like even with that, if you have an internship that you know you're going to, but it's not going to start till maybe like October or whatnot, like Miss Hilaire and Western Tech and the whole program, they're very forgiving with stuff like that. Just make sure you plan ahead. Like there needs to be evidence that you planned ahead, that you know, this is the date I'm going to start. This is how things are going to go. Like this is, I have all the details. Make sure you know that you know that you know. Because when you go, are making that schedule for senior year, which I guess this is more geared towards juniors, you need to know what's happening. You need to know, how does this internship site work? Do I need to be there every Thursday? Because that's not going to work if I have 8 a.m. B day, or if I need to, if I'm there all day, 8 a.m. B day, what time does it start? Am I going to be able to get my 10 hours? Because that's the other thing. For every, I guess, what is it? A internship period, I guess. You need to turn in 10 hours at least. Is it every?
I thought it was like every.
It's every
quarter. Or
no, every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks.
It's 10 hours every 3 weeks.
It's like because the one we just turned in, it was like
that was like the start of the year. Yeah. But it's normally like every 2 or so weeks.
Every 2 or so weeks. Okay.
Yeah. I'm an internship.
All right, so every 2 or so weeks, you need to have 10 hours. So keep that in mind. Like if you're going to only do it on the weekends, you need to you need to plan ahead so that you get all 10 of those hours, because you don't want to end up trying, doing 2 hours, that 1 week and then having to do 8 the next week. Like that's, maybe do 5 and 5, or maybe break it up a bit more, or maybe, consider going in another day besides weekends. So yeah, just some things to keep in mind. Again, extracurriculars, awards and stuff, really this is the time. I mean, 11th grade's really the time, but this is the time to really...
12th grade is kind of like the year where everything you've done, 9th, 10th, 11th, really comes to like an end, and like everything pays off. Yeah. You get to see everything come together, and it's really just looking at it, it's an amazing experience. But at the same time, again, colleges are still looking at this time of the year to ensure that you are still maintaining everything and keeping up the pace, even though people like to consider this as kind of like I want to say you can relax. It's supposed to be the fun year. Yeah, everybody says. So I'm trying to see if that's the case, but just keep maintaining everything. That's the best thing I could get.
Because also make sure to check if the colleges you're applying to require your mid-year final grades, because a lot of them do. So just make sure you check it.
Yeah, these first 2 quarters, they're just as important as all the other. Right. And it's interesting because, all the other years, they couldn't see if you got a C and then 3 A's and then got an A on your final. They couldn't see that. But for the, first 2 quarters of 12th grade, they can see that, you got an A this quarter and then you got a B this quarter. Like you could kind of hide that on your transcript, but you can't hide your quarter grades on your mid-year, what is it, interim or whatever?
Grades.
Mid-year transcript. So again, this is 12th grade is definitely the grade where your first 2 quarter GPAs, they matter, like the actual quarter GPAs, not the whole transcript. Because I know a lot of us, we plan ahead. We say, if I get an A this quarter, if I get a B that quarter, it'll all be fine. It'll all turn out great. Like I know I'm going to get this on the exam. I know I'll get this or higher, So this is pretty much how I need to do for the whole year. Like 12th grade is not like that. Like if you wanted to show up as an A for your 12th grade year, you need to have that A for that first and second quarter. Like they'll see that you've got to be in the class. Like again, you could kind of hide that, all the other years, but you can't hide that in 12th grade, which is kind of annoying, but it does make sense. They want to see that you're still staying on top of things. And honestly, if you've gotten all A's and they see a B on your mid-year grades, like they're not going to reject you. They understand that, there's some leeway, there's some, wiggle room for you to get that A still. So I think colleges are more forgiving than people realize. Like I think people don't get in and they're like, my application was horrible, I did something wrong. It's not that. Chances are you just didn't get in because someone else got in. Like that's most of the time that's going to be the case. Like it's not like they wouldn't have taken you. It's not that they said, "Oh no, you're not good enough for us." I mean, maybe they did, but chances are it's just chances are chances
they have a certain
they have certain criteria. They have, enough students because they can't accept everybody. Yeah. They can't accept everybody. And you might unfortunately be one of those people who isn't accepted into their dream school, but that shouldn't stop you because most of you, if not all of you, should be applying to multiple schools. Yeah. I know Ms. Gould said like 10 or 11 is a good, 10 or 11 is a good.
I know it's like 2 safeties, right?
2 safeties.
4 reach.
4 what is it called?
Target.
For target, and then like 2 more reach. Something like that at least. So that would be like 8 schools in itself, and then the other 2 schools, the other 3 schools, just wherever you want to go, wherever you can afford, wherever has the programs in the atmosphere that you want. Because I know Ameerah earlier, she said, is the school the size that you want? Is it, the student to staff ratio? Is that, looking good? Because student to staff ratio is very important. It determines how much access you're going to have to your teachers. Like now it's like, I'd say like 20 kids per teacher per se, like in each class. So it might be different because if you have like, say 50 kids per teacher, you're going to have a much harder time trying to, get in touch with that college professor. Or, a lot of colleges, they have it where it's like 12 people, 12 students per teacher. So again, it's really important to look at that because, if there's 12 students per teacher, the teacher has a lot more time to focus on you. But then again, they might be a bit more hands-on with how they help you. So, yeah. Ups and downs to each, different criteria that there is. School size, class size, student to staff ratio. What else is there? Urban, rural, suburban.
Like student life.
Student life, how many extracurriculars do they have? Do they have the extracurriculars you want? Like if you spent the last 4 years playing tennis or badminton like I have, well, I spent 3 years playing tennis and 2 badminton, but that's not important. If you spent, a whole bunch of years playing sports that you love and you end up going to a school that doesn't have the sport that you love, like even if you're not playing in a division, even if you just want to play it as a club sport, like it might be disappointing to know that you can't play it anymore. Like, again, that shouldn't be the factor that makes or breaks, the college for you, but it's definitely something to consider. Like if you have things that you enjoy, look at the school, do they offer it? And many schools these days do. Many schools are becoming more diverse in their clubs, in their activities and whatnot. So, you should be all set.
One thing I wanted to touch on was the letters of recommendation and transcripts. Make sure you get to your teachers early because in order to write an adequate recommendation letter or a recommendation letter that is really thought out, your teachers have to have time to do that. So you can't really request a letter of recommendation like 2 weeks before they're supposed to be put out because your teacher can't write a good recommendation letter for you. They care for you and they want to write a recommendation letter that will get you into the college that you want to go to. So give them time to do this and request it at least a month before.
Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about is the difference between early decision, early action, and regular decision. So for early decision, I think it's due like November 1st, or like it actually depends on like the colleges, but it's going to be earlier than December. And it's a binding, so you can only do it at one school, and if you get in, then you have to go to that school. And there's also something called Early Decision 2, and it's like the same thing, but the application due date might be a little later, but I think it's also binding as well.
Yeah, be careful with that because you need to know like how much does this school cost, because you don't want to be bound to a school like Johns Hopkins because I know they do early decision. But if you're bound to that school, are you going to be able to pull out 80K or like what's about to happen here? Like, and again, they might not offer you, the scholarships that you want because, they know you're coming here anyway. Like they might shortchange you in that way. Cause I know colleges, may do that. Like if you're early decision, they might offer you less money because they know you're coming here either way. So I know a lot of scholarships go out during regular decision. So that may be an incentive to go for regular decision. But, we have early action as well, which is basically you just submitted a bit earlier and you're considered a bit earlier. Early action, if any of your schools have early action, do early action. Like that's definitely what you want to do. Again, early decision, unless the school is somewhere you really want to go to and somewhere where you really know you can afford, that's when you do early decision. But early action, do it for every school that offers it, because if you're considered earlier, that'll only increase your chances of getting in. And then there's regular decision.
I know. I know that one's like due in January. And then you get your results like what, March, May?
Yeah, I think everyone gets their results around March.
Or no, actually for early.
It's early.
Yeah, it's earlier. If you you get it like December.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah. Right? Or December, January,
Yeah,
something like that.
Oh.
Don't go.
But it's earlier.
It's just earlier. I know. Yeah.
Like, it's just later. You're just applying later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely recommend doing early action though. Because
Yeah,
you can
early.
apply early action to multiple schools. But early decision is only one.
Got it. Yeah,
school.
make sure
And you have to go there.
You have to go there. Make sure you really want to go.
Yeah, make sure it's like your top school and that you can afford it if you get like no scholarships.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And also, I know that I was speaking with Miss Gould the other day. A lot of the money that you're going to use to go to that institution is going to come from the institution itself. Like, yes, the FAFSA, I know a lot of people, especially at Western Tech, I know a lot of us may qualify for it, but for a lot of, for most schools, like, again, these scholarships where they're like, oh, we're going to give you $500 here, or, you can win a full ride here. Like, chances are, like, it's very slim that you're going to win. Like, no matter who you are, it's a very slim chance that you're going to get a full ride anywhere off of, some third party scholarship. So what you need to be careful of is that, you're looking at the schools and look at how much money they themselves are offering you. Because, again, most of the money you're going to get to go to college is going to come from the institution. Again, another reason to keep your GPA up, and another reason to have those good extracurriculars and those sports and whatnot. And the other thing about sports too, I know a lot of people were like, oh, well, I play a sport, so hopefully they'll offer me a scholarship. Like, the thing with sports and scholarships is that you have to be like the best of the best, like division worthy, to be able to like have a scholarship offered to you based on sports. Because if you go to a school and they offer you a sports-based scholarship, you best believe you are playing for that school. You are traveling with that school. You are, you are with them ride or die. And the funny thing is that I actually had a cousin who ran track, and she used to be traveling like everywhere around the country. So you have to keep that in mind. Like, do you want to just be at the college or do you want to like go and travel with this sports team and be, like, I know it's aired on television and all that. Like, it's a lot. Like, doing sports in college is a lot. It's not like high school. I hope it wouldn't be like high school, but again, if it's something you really want to do, like I know some people at Western, despite the kind of school we are, I know some of you are considering sports as a career. Like, I know a lot of sports science, students are considering that. So again, that's one thing to really be cautious of if you're applying to a school and you say, oh, well, I'm really good at sports. I'm really good at this sport in particular. You should have me play for your school. Like, that will be an entirely different lifestyle. Like, I've seen it. It's not like, your regular college student. You're with them, you're traveling with them, you're playing for them, you're competing, and you're earning money too. So that's another thing to think about. You might want to, make that dough,
But then there's also D1, D2, and D3. So even if you decide to do D3, for example, even if they don't give out scholarships, I'm pretty sure if you're good enough, the coaches will try to find and scurry some money out for you if you are a good player for their team. But D1, like CJ was talking about, you are committed to that school for the reason of playing that sport. And it will be kind of difficult to balance academics and sports if you're doing D1. That's why, me personally, I may go D3 just because I want that balance and being able to balance two. But D1 and D2 are definitely options. There's many options as far as it goes where balancing out your academics. I'm just rambling. That's really but yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's it for the college applications. Just make sure, again, you meet your due dates. You should really have everything ready before the deadline. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, but guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast.
Thank you
all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We love you.
Tech, yeah.